Hey, this is Chuck, and you are listening to Fans with Bands, the podcast where we talk to the fans and the bands they dig about life, music, and whatever the hell else we want to talk about.
Today on Fans with Bands, we're talking to Caving Grounds. Check it out. Hey, this is Chuck with Fans with Bands, and I'm talking to the guys in Caving Grounds. How you guys doing?
Good.
Doing good.
Good.
Awesome. I caught you guys at the Resonator Fest beer release over at the COG. Was it last month? Yeah, like 418 or something like that. And
Yeah.
I was blown away. Well, number one, I was almost floored too because I was up front trying to get some photos, and the pit like erupted. It was like madness, which was awesome. I was like, there, I've been to the COG a number of times, and I was like. And Chris had told me, like, oh, there'll be a mosh pit in here. I'm like, really? And sure shit, there was. It was awesome. I was also kind of blown away by just like how awesome the community up there felt in terms of like, heavy metal and hard rock and pretty much all metal. The first Mother Tomb was doomy, but it was still. I was just blown away, and you guys were fantastic. So as soon as I got back, I was like, I got to reach out and talk to you guys. So here you are. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. I remember seeing you like when you were taking pictures. I remember like actually I was like worried for a second, but then you carried yourself in a way where I was like, okay, he knows what's up.
Yeah. So. Well, I've been like, typically if I'm shooting like a show, there's no like barrier pretty much. I mean, I've shot shows where there's a barrier. But the one time, well, there's been a couple times. Sacred Reich at the Sanctuary in Detroit got crazy because that was with Iron Reagan, and that pit got nuts. And then the other time where I could only stay for like 3 songs was Municipal Waste at the shelter. I was right up front, and I swear to God, I got kicked in the head like 3 or 4 times, and I'm like trying to stay, get like a photo without getting my head taken off, and I was like, I got to get out of here. But it wasn't that bad there. I mean, I think I got half a beer spilled on me, and I got kicked in the knee. But although it was fine, it was all good. It was what you expect. So I'd like to start at the beginning, but I'm most curious, and I've read about you guys, but I would like to hear from you like the name of the band, Caving Grounds. What does that mean, and how did you guys come up with that?
Caving Grounds is a place kind of by us in like Old Town Negaunee. Well, in Negaunee, but Old Town like caved in with all the old underground mines.
So what was it? What was it about that name that like you guys thought that'd be a great name for a band?
We were jamming with. At this point, the band was comprised of. It wasn't the band yet. It was like before a band starts, you're in a band.
Yeah.
Fetus or something, like you're starting to do the band.
Right.
And we were working with a couple dudes who aren't in the band. And we were trying to come up with names, and we came up with like dozens of names that we hated. And I think Wickstrom came up with it, but I'm not positive. Right? You came up with it, right, Wick?
Yeah, I mean, I was like kind of like trying to find something regional. Like that's when I was like trying to come up with band names. I was trying to think of like regional things, and then like Caving Grounds is just kind of like, I don't know, pretty much abandoned land. I don't know, just empty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's like a void, and it sounds ominous, I guess. I think that's probably why we gravitated towards it.
Yeah. Well, I like the fact that the story, that I read might have been in the Mining Journal or something like that. But like how the mining companies just didn't give a shit and basically dug underneath Negaunee, and people's homes are falling in, and people are dying, It's like, what the hell? Totally just like screw. And I had no idea about that until I saw your band, and then we have a friend, Janelle, that lives up in Negaunee actually, and she was like, "Oh, you want to go hike in the old town?" And we're like, "What the hell's the old town?" You know, and she's like, "Yeah, man, it's really weird. This, you know, they had to move the town basically because the mines made it unstable." It's like, what?
Yeah. Our demo on the cover of our like demo, there's like a stairwell that I assume like went up to like a house, but it's just like these stairs. They call them the stairs to nowhere, and like there's like a whole neighborhood of stairs that just lead up to nothing.
I still got to get out there because we were gonna go. So, side story: when we were up there on the 18th, I don't know what the hell we were thinking. I live in Ann Arbor, so it had already been like 70. We haven't had snow in like a month. So we go up there on the 18th, and you guys still have feet of snow, and we're gonna go hike. And Janelle's like, "Did you bring snowshoes?" And we're like, "No, there's no snow down there." So anyway, we were idiots, you know, from down south. Like, oh Jesus! But anyway, so Alex, you kind of alluded to how the band was starting, you know, in its fetus state. How did all of you guys get together and form this band?
I mean, I guess Wickstrom was Wick is like the main guy who started the band, in my opinion. I got asked to join the band. But Wick and I were in bands when we were younger. Like we used to play in a band called Five Finger Discount together back when we were like teenagers, and we've known each other forever. Me and Wick, and then we've known Brandon forever. Wick and Dane have known each other for like ever, so it's just one of those things where, you know, we kind of all knew each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, the band was basically Wickstrom starting.
Well, at like one point in time, like Dana and I were working on a food truck together, and like we talked about like starting a band that like I mean like not it did happen, but it didn't happen like when we were talking about doing it. And then like Watnan and I talked about like Alex and I talked about doing something together, um, kind of around the same time. But then it was probably like a year later when we actually like sat down and started working on stuff, and then we scooped up Brandon later. But like we've all known each other, and like Alex and Brandon have worked on stuff together. I've been around when Alex and Brandon were working on stuff together, and just I don't know,
Nice.
kind of just all fell into place, I'd say.
And what was that time frame? When was that?
Our first show was September 1st, 2023, I think.
All right.
And and I had joined right in like the spring or summer of that year, and then we practiced up until that show, and that was our first show together.
Yeah, cool. It was like early summer, probably.
Nice, yeah. Nice. And were you guys pretty much all on the same page? I mean, as far as your backgrounds in music, and what you wanted to do with music? No.
Not at all.
Not at all. No.
No. Actually, when Wickstrom asked me to join the band, at first I was like, no. And then like 2 weeks later, he asked me again because like I hadn't picked up a bass until I joined this band, and he's like, come to a practice, and I was like, all right, fine, I'll come. And then started jamming, and I was like, oh, all right, well, I guess this is for me.
Learn like you learn like 2 songs like the first time you ever touched a bass. I was like, yeah, that'll probably work.
But yeah,
I mean, novice guitar background.
But I don't like musically.
Was a great
like
choice
kind
for
of
me.
evolved.
Yeah.
Because like when we first started, I was like writing more like punk songs, and then like kind of progressively added some more heavy stuff into it. Still like keeping some punk elements, and then trying to add more like I don't know, like death metal and sludge elements into it too.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of. I heard a lot of sludge elements, kind of in the vein. I was thinking of like I Hate God and you know, who else? Jello Biafra, you know, a little bit of Napalm Death. Crowbar. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, we have overlap and stuff. And we obviously also like stuff that isn't heavy, but in terms of what we are like, I think we all bring our own thing to the mix a little bit, and like I'm much more of like a hardcore guy, whereas Wick is like a little more metal. I know that like Dane is really into metalcore. Brando likes prog and stuff like that.
Like prog metal fusion.
Awesome.
So yeah. So, but I obviously I think that we have like I think we've kind of found a stylistic like wavelength that we function in that works really well and allows us to kind of be dynamic from project to project, so we don't like stagnate into one kind of. Some people record
not
the same.
like real, not like real, like married to like one thing, like
Yeah, like we have to be this genre, and like
yeah,
we can only
makes
be here.
songwriting really easy because I can just pick up the guitar and try to make stuff work, like not really worry too much if it's one certain thing, or it gives a lot of flexibility.
Nice. Well, the last tune I saw that you have released is "Are You on Fire?" Was that it?
Yeah.
And I love that tune, and I also love the message behind it. As far as just like it's awesome. The lyrics are fucking killer. It's heavy as hell. I love all the pacing of it and everything. So kind of walk me through how the evolution of that song. How did that come to be?
So like Wickstrom wrote the music, and a lot of the songs, like Wickstrom writes a lot of our music is Wick doing it. Like, so you have did we arrange it before I wrote the lyrics? I don't remember.
I think
like the rough draft of it.
Yeah.
One night I was like sitting in bed and I just programmed those drums. Not the ones on the recording, but I just programmed like the drums in it to the initial song, and then had some riffs, and they all kind of like flowed together. I think we might have moved some things around, but like for the most part, I just kind of made it up in my head one day.
Yeah, I mean that one was definitely definitely like a cool challenge to play it that way, with those like big swings from like the triplets in the beginning to the really sludgy stuff after that. And I had to come up with like a way to play the drum part that he programmed, and that's kind of our thing at this point too. We're it's all about capturing the performance, like no edits on the drums. Those are single takes.
Wow.
So that one was kind of daunting. It's like I had to do those transitions in there, and that's yeah. So
awesome.
Kind of how that one finished, at least.
Yeah, but then writing it lyrically, like, I'm not gonna say dude's name, but there's this fucking dude, and he fucking sucks. And
I think we know, all of us know some dude like that.
Yeah,
absolutely. And it's like most of us know this dude, and there's that dude for everybody, kind of, that's just like, oh man, like you have so much to say about it, but you're never there. You never show up.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like a mega hater and just really kind of a bastard. And so, I mean, initially I was trying to write way more lyrics, and in those sludgy parts where I just come in like once every 4 measures or whatever, that was, I think Wick was the one who was like, dude, what if you don't yell through the sludgy part, you just do these one spots. And I think that like so many of our songs, like I put like probably too many lyrics into. So like I think that like I've been getting better at that, and having the band tell me sometimes like maybe we dial it back here. And I think for this song in particular, it works really, really well.
Yeah, the impact at that moment.
Yeah,
it's
yeah. And, but yeah, we were really stoked about it, and we dropped it as a single almost as an afterthought. Like we were already basically done recording our next EP, Become Soil. So that's the single from that. And
oh, okay, cool. Awesome.
We kind of just decided to drop it like a couple months before we decided we were going to drop the EP. So
nice. Well,
yeah, you saw it the first time it was played live then.
Yeah, that's true. That was the first time we played it live. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we've been playing Black Mold live, and I thought that we were probably going to use that as a single, but then like, yeah, just the way Are You on Fire turned out, it was like, oh, that one's pretty cool. Let's do that one.
We knew we were going to have a fun night,
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely was fun. I was also checking out, the first EP, Northern Desolation, and I was super intrigued by the opening tune, Slow Violence. Like, what in the fuck is going on here? Because there's, some dude talking behind it, like, which I think is explaining what it is, but maybe give me the background of Slow Violence.
I chopped up like what are you saying? And we were using that like riff. Dane kind of came up with that riff at practice one day, and it was like kind of how we would start shows off, like an intro or whatever.
Yeah, we were looking for an intro riff, and that's kind of what I came up with for that. And then we ended up putting it on the record. We figured it'd be sick to have like a sick, sample behind it. And someone mentioned the concept, and it fit perfectly.
Nice.
Yeah. I was like reading a lot of shit in school about slow violence at the time. And so I think I was the one who like came to with the concept, which kind of ended up kind of being, I think, a defining thing for the whole EP, which is why we went with it. But then, Wick was the one who went and got the samples of Rob Nixon talking about the concept of slow violence, which is essentially like, what was that?
It was a lecture at, I don't remember what university it was, but I just kind of chopped up some of that lecture, like, I don't know, highlighting key points, I guess.
And so, for folks that don't know what slow violence is, can I give a synopsis?
Yeah. So like off the top of my head, it's like systemic violence that isn't necessarily seen as violence. So like outside of the direct actual violence that states use and enact on populations, you have like the effects of like ecological disasters, pollution. These sorts of things usually happen in places like the caving grounds, like
underground mining, like slowly eroding away the earth, causing damage to all the people that live there.
Yeah, maybe violence that you're not perceiving at the time, but with like delayed consequences, maybe.
Yeah, and like economic shit, all sorts of stuff like that, offshoring of jobs, a lot of like relevant issues for the Midwest.
Yeah, for sure, especially in Michigan. I mean, there's been we still have some slow violence rolling down the Huron River right now because that water is contaminated.
Like what happened in Flint. That's total slow violence.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. Yeah, crazy. Yeah, but anyway, that tune's awesome. Another awesome tune is Path of Totality. I love that tune. So walk me through that tune. How'd that thing come to be?
Well, first of all, Wiki's our riff god. This guy is the riff factory, dude. So I don't know. A lot of these tunes just like came from Wiki's pocket, basically, like just with guitar riffs, and then we just basically learn them.
I was trying to write like a black metal song, not even like for the band. I was just like screwing around in my basement, and I don't know, ended up having like sludgy parts, and I don't know, felt like it kind of fit the vibe to everything else that we're kind of working on.
And a lot of times when Wick has riffs that are like kind of maybe outside of the box like that, where he's like working on a black metal song or like whatever, he'll bring them and sometimes back. I'm working on this. I don't know if it fits for Caving Grounds, and he'll show us it. And sometimes we like workshop them in practice. We definitely arranged the songs together, but if I remember correctly, Dane, you were the one who came up with the title though, which kind of like it was one of those songs where we had the title.
Oh yeah, there was an eclipse going on at the time.
Yeah, and you saw it practice.
It was the Path of Totality.
Yeah, there was an eclipse.
Yeah, and it was one of those things where then I had this idea, like that was where this idea of like an obscured light source or something came in, and then once I had the Path of Totality title, I was able to start like. I think I had the glow in the chorus of it figured out before I even knew it was going to be about like smartphones and tablets and screens and shit. But yeah.
I just love that fact of it, that aspect of like, because the music really does fit that theme of like these glowing instruments, like just totally fucking you up and like creating this psychosis almost, you know? So yeah, it fits perfectly. And it does have that sort of black, you know, there's just a bit of fierceness and darkness, you know, in the riffs and stuff, which I think is very cool. So as far as, you know, how you guys got started individually, what was your path into music? And, you know, like, how did you get, why did you, so two-part question. How did you get into music? And why did you want to be in a band? And
Which way do we want to move?
let's start with Dane, since he got forced into playing bass.
Well, I had like a novice guitar background. I used to take guitar lessons when I was a kid, and so I had a little bit of guitar background, and then that kind of introduced me into music. And my parents were big into music and cool music, and my mom would buy me like new metal and like punk CDs when I was like in like middle school.
Awesome.
And so I kind of got into like an exposure to like alternative type ish music like that. And then from there, my taste just kind of expanded over time, and getting into different subgenres of different stuff. And eventually I got to like, you know, death metal and extreme metal. And I really liked that. So, and then I was also in a band in high school, where I did vocals, and I was really into the MySpace era deathcore and death metal at that time, I guess you could call it.
Yeah.
That was like super formative for me. I was like really into that kind of stuff. I love the Black Dahlia Murders still. They've been going from since then until now, and I'm a huge fan of them. But yeah, that was like kind of my intro into music, was like just experiment with different you know, music as a kid, and just a little bit of guitar back then. But then, yeah, when Wickstrom asked me to join the band, I was hesitant at first because I had never really messed with the bass at all. And then I did actually end up agreeing to come to the practice and try out the bass, and I ended up really liking it. It really kind of fit, and it was fitting for me at the time to, you know, dive into something new like that, and you know, a new like pursuit like that, to join a band and be in a band. I was totally ready for that like challenge at that time of my life too, and
Yeah.
it was definitely the right choice for me, and yeah, super happy I ended up joining this band.
Fantastic. Let's go to Brandon. How about you?
I mean, I'd say like introduction to music is that like I just got to thank my parents for being like really open and not really like censoring art. So there was always a push to be able to like, you know, my mom listened to a ton of different music and whatnot. Beyond that, I'm a more classically trained musician, so wind instruments, uh, for you know all through middle school and high school, and then jazz guitar all through high school. You know, doing jazz competitions, picking up everything. Drums was kind of like the fun thing. And I don't know, I feel like everybody at some point, if you play multiple instruments, you go sit down behind the drums, everybody's like, oh, I think I can do drums. And you know, there's kind of a real sharp like divide with drummers of being like overly nerdy and way too focused on being fast and doing all this different stuff, or just can, you know, or the drummers that are just learners and want to be part of the experience and are good like supporting role players. You know, we lead people into the new spaces and stuff, so like having the knowledge from other instruments, sitting down and playing drums with people was like, oh, this is something I think I really like, I'm probably good at. And as I get a lot older and learn how to rein in, like, you know, the temptations to do a lot of other things, I serve the music more and more. And it's just like, man, that I took some years off from music, and that got me back into a position where it's like, well, I'm a much more mature musician at this point in life. And I own a business that I have to attend to pretty directly. I'm an arborist and run my own company. But I have a lot of time off in the winter, and I'm like, oh, I want to start playing in bands again. And it was just like right around that time. Alex and I did hip hop together for years, like indie hip hop. So that's like our background together. And like Wick was saying, we knew each other through, you know, adjacent to that, and then playing in like punk and hardcore bands. And yeah, so again, with Dane, like with me coming into the band, it's been a little over a year. The timing was just good, and uh getting to play with music that has such feeling behind it. Like it's not always about sitting down and just playing something difficult. It's like uh this is an easy band for me to stay in and put the work in, practice every week, you know, do what needs to be done to do, like what I was saying, like record these tracks without, you know, doing a bunch of behind the scenes studio magic.
Right.
Yeah, this playing music that there's really a message, a feeling. Like you know, every time I sit down to play this stuff, it's more than just, you know, just noodling behind the drum set. So that's been really awesome. And I'm way into the production end of things too. So like Wiki and I have been able to really collaborate on that with that part of it. And like this group is so good at like everybody stepping up to roles and, you know, managing things together as artists. And I think that's why it works so well.
Nice.
Yeah, he came in right after Northern Desolation, just so people are aware of like.
So this will be the first. We've got a couple singles out, but this one that we're Become Soil that we're dropping here is the first one with me on the drums.
Nice.
But I've been playing live with the band since the release of Northern Desolation. So
Right.
I learned up that material as I entered the band.
Very cool. And you mentioned you were involved in like in the recording and production, both, right?
Yeah.
Because I can tell. I mean, there's definitely a demarcation when you listen to Northern Desolation versus the songs that have been released since. I mean, it was it was great earlier, but the most recent stuff has just a little bit more edge, and Wick's guitar seems a little like tighter. So
yeah, that's something like also what's working so well here is that like because so like I have a studio at my house that I used to use for like, you know, side business during the winter and stuff like that. Being a drummer, you know, like we take up all kinds of space. So I've got a really nice drum studio in the basement. I've got a studio upstairs with like a booth and stuff like for ISO cabs and whatnot. So like, you know, we're in the kind of like the old school analog thing, but I get put in the position of like doing so much for bands I've been in traditionally. And Wickstrom is very talented in those areas too. So all of a sudden, like I had basically 50% of, you know, at minimum of my workload I'm used to going into recording a project taken back, and even not even having to be the one providing all the gear for once, you know. And so kind of rolling into like Wiki, you know, into his experience coming in here is that like, yeah, that's also been like, you know, we're willing to do the takes, we're willing to do it analog, we're willing to be nitpicky. Like we totally did entire takes of the songs for the new EP, and we're like, we don't like the tempos, and completely re-recorded stuff on the front end. So, you know, it's good to not have that stress of just being like the only one. You know, different expectations than I'm used to, which is great. It leaves way more room for me to understand the creative elements rather than just worry about the technical elements. And I think that's big.
Yeah,
big thing.
That's awesome. Well, let's go to Alex. How about you?
Which one? Me?
Yeah.
Okay. The question was how we got into music and how we got into the band, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So, I mean, I don't know. I've been in music since I was young. My parents were into music, but they were into like the kind of stuff millennial kids with pothead parents listen to. I don't know, you know, like CCR, whatever, old rock stuff.
Right.
But when I became a teenager, I got into all sorts of stuff, and it was like, I think in the 90s, it was like in the early 2000s, it was still that era where you would, I mean, Napster started to exist and stuff, but you would also go to like a record store or a thrift shop and buy albums based off of like, oh, I remember reading this band in a liner notes from another band I like, or I like the way this album art looks, kind of a thing. So I got into like all sorts of weird stuff when I was like pretty young, and then I found punk rock and hardcore when I was like 14 or 15. And I kind of just dove in there. So I was like in the crowd for a couple of years, and then I was in this like really. You ever listen to DRI?
Yeah.
I was in DRI's first record. I was in a thrash band that kind of sounded like that. Was my first band.
Nice.
When I was like 16, we didn't really do much. We like recorded a demo and played 3 shows, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But then me and Wick got into that band I was talking about, Five Finger Discount. And we played for like probably 4 years, 5 years. There was a moment we broke up for a year in the middle, but I mean, we would go play downstate sometimes. We would play around Michigan, and so that was my first experience with like playing in a somewhat serious band and like being on the road a little bit. And then, like Brandon said, I got into making underground hip hop for a while, so I would rap. I'm just kind of into word stuff.
Yeah.
I got an MFA in creative writing a year ago, so
nice.
Like creative writing is just a thing. I like to write poetry, so I just like words. And so for a while I was doing hip hop, but it was this kind of thing where when I transitioned into doing that, it was fun, but it was like it didn't feel like I still make hip hop sometimes, but and it's fun. I like doing it, but I didn't feel like I don't know. It felt like I was walking off a part of myself or something. Like, and when Wick asked me to join Caving Grounds, it was at the beginning of grad school, like I was just talking about. And so I was like really, really like probably the busiest I've ever been in my whole life. And I was like, dude, I don't know, man. And I was like, look, because I really wanted to do it again, but I was like, look, I'll do it. And I remember telling Wick, like, but we have to do it. Like I'll do it, but I'm not doing it to like jam for a couple months or like hang out for a weekend or something. Like I actually want to be in a band again. And Wick was like, yeah. And that was kind of how I got into the band.
That's awesome.
A lead-in segue to Wick.
Yeah, hell yeah. Oh, I just want to say, DRI, Beneath the Wheel was that's how I got into those dudes. Beneath the Wheel. I saw them. Great. I saw them. I don't know, 3 or 4 times. I saw them at Milwaukee Metal Fest back in the day and stuff. So, anyway,
they're a real cool band. I like all the eras, but the early stuff though, it was just so weird. The kind of like militaristic drumming snare shit. The first band I was in, our drummer was just similarly.
That was like proto power violence.
Yeah, proto power violence kind of stuff.
Yeah, very much. Wick, how about you?
I started playing violin when I was like in 4th or 5th. Well, maybe 4th and 5th grade.
Wow.
So I think I did it for like 2 years, and then going into, and I hated it, by the way.
Oh, bummer.
So going into middle school, I was like, I am not going into orchestra. I'm going into band. I'm not touching another violin. So I played the tuba all through middle school. And I think in 6th grade, so like pretty much when I started like learning actual music, I got a bass guitar too. So I was like learning that at home. And I think like I remember I learned a bunch of Sabbath songs. Nice. I didn't ever take any lessons. I just kind of picked around. There was like tabs underneath the sheet music, so I like kind of figured out what those were, and then played along to Sabbath for a while, and jammed with a neighbor buddy who played drums for a while, and then getting into high school, I met Alex and started going to punk shows, and had told him that I played bass or whatever, and knew he was in bands. So then we kind of got something started there.
Nice.
And then I don't know that, but as far as like wanting to know, I wanted to be in a band, it was probably when I got my first bass. I was like, I want to like be in a band with somebody, you know.
When did you transition to guitar? When did you start doing that?
I really like for this.
Yeah. I mean, was this the first band you started playing guitar for?
I've had a guitar. I've probably had a guitar for like, I don't know, probably like 10 years or something, maybe a little longer than that. Yeah. And played around on guitar here and there. It's been longer than 10 years.
But it's interesting that what you started with was bass, which tends to be a little bit different than playing guitar. I mean, slightly depends where you're going with it. Like for me, when I was playing guitar, I really wanted to be a bass player, but I didn't feel like I was like good enough, you know, because I really was into like Chris Squire from Yes and Geddy Lee, and I was like, fuck, I can't do
Yeah.
that. But maybe I can play some guitar, because I could, I could kind of fuck around with that, and that led me there. And I haven't played a bass since because I still don't understand how to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like very underskilled on guitar, but
yeah, it sounds good though. It sounds awesome.
Yeah, there's no frills. It's just pretty much what I'm capable of doing is
mashing out some awesome riffs. That's
what I'm doing.
Yeah. Well, it's a feature, not a bug. Like, I don't think that Wick is always kind of like, I don't know, modest about it, but he has like an ability to churn out some really interesting riffs. I think that his specific writing style, he brings stuff to the table sometimes where we're like, whoa, I wouldn't have thought of it that way, and not in a bad way, like in a really like, holy shit, awesome way. Which, I mean, obviously sometimes we help arrange. There are times at practice where one of us is we alter riffs. We'll talk about changing things. Sometimes Dane brings stuff to the table for sure. Slow Violence was definitely him, and then there have been other songs where it's been like him and Wick writing it together. But for the most part, yeah, dude, no, I think that you're way too modest, man. Like, you're a good guitarist, and
yeah, but
I think
like if you ask me to play a scale or like solo, I can't. I can't do it.
We're not in the business of that though. So.
Right.
No, yeah. But like I'm not a virtuous guitar player. I know how to riff.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think like something I'd say is about like just his approach when he brings something, it's very open, and like, some people are very afraid of like being so afraid of being wrong or right or whatever. They're like, every time Wiki brings in a riff, he's just like, hey, what do you think about this?
Yeah.
And like that's like he's like, hey, what do you think about this? And it gives you a really good like, it's a good environment to react to, like, as a drummer coming in kind of late to the whole situation. Like the whole first year for me has been kind of trying to understand like what's needed and how to react to that. And I'm a very like open musician. I always just tell people, I'm like, just like tell me what you want, like, and once I understand, I will start contributing my style to it or whatever I think like I have to contribute in this thing. It doesn't have to be chops. It doesn't have to be, it could be literally just the drum, from a drummer's perspective, like the kit you put together for the project to like serve it really well. And I mean, and obviously if I'm in like prog music, I love the arrangement at times when it's funky. Like, I could get geeky and talk about how some of this stuff kind of steps out of the time signatures a little bit there, but it's great to just focus on the writing and just I love that about the riffs for sure.
Yeah.
Well, that was like what was fun, like because Brandon and I, and then Dane too, because like the title track "Become Soil," like that was written like off the new EP. That was written partially just me and Brandon jamming together.
Yeah.
And then we were going over it after we were recording some of the other tracks of the new EP, and we were sitting in the studio and we're going over the riffs and parts to that song. And then Dane, Brandon, and I kind of like formulated the end of the song.
Yeah, and
we like because Brandon and I jammed out the beginning, and then it just kind of stopped, and then the three of us worked on the tail end of it.
And like to kind of piggyback on what I was saying earlier is just like Wick, he had this EP, the three other songs written for a long time, like basically off the tail end of already having Northern Desolation done. So he specifically saved the title track for us to write together as we got to this point, because it's been, me learn the stuff we're playing, learn the new songs, write it, figure out the tweaks and stuff like that. But that again is just, it's like being open and generous to the fact that it's like we do this as a band. So like he saved that one particularly just for us to write together for this EP, which helps us go forward now that we're not like back backlogged on writing, you know, because
Right.
because of the amount of riffs.
Yeah.
So that's like another thing just about being open is like, well, don't even stress about it until we get there because we're going to write something that is kind of more indicative of what we're doing at this moment, not what we're going to be doing next necessarily, but that's what.
And sometimes you understand a project best, I think, when you're there. So, like at the beginning, like I even feel like with some of our older projects, right, Wick? Like if we look back, there are certain things where we're like, oh, if we had known at the beginning of the project, if we had known what we knew at the end of the project, it probably would have turned out more how we envisioned it or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's. I mean, my personal experience has been that has always been really coming up with things with other folks is a lot more. It feels better than writing something on your own and then bringing it and say this is exactly how it needs to be, versus going in with your bandmates and say, oh yeah, here's some ideas, throw them together, or guitar player drummer jamming together, man, that's the best because it's like, fuck, all kinds of shit starts happening because the drummer's like going off of your riff and then you're like, shit, I didn't realize I wanted to go there. Boom. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think even with that one too, it was cool because like, again, like I actually like the liberation of somebody kind of, saying this is what I'm thinking about for the drums instead of me having to come up with the first idea. So Wick, when we jammed that out, Wick was like, well, I kind of like this, I've got this feel from this song, where there's a tom intro. And I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, I get to go first. Sweet. And so he gave, it's the idea of like a writing prompt, it's like he put a writing prompt in front of me and then I played till he heard something that he liked and was like, okay, and right then and there, that is kind of like going back to his own process of like programming drums, riffing along to it. So, I mean, I'm comfortable with each way, but I think we're fine. We're at this really comfortable space in the band where we can do it in a room because we regularly get together.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like recursive. Like,
yeah.
There's like a recursive element to it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, what's the time frame for becoming Soil? You got the one tune that came up, I think, February? The Are You on Fire? And what are you guys thinking?
Then Become. I should look it up so I don't say
June 13th.
13th. Yeah.
13th.
So a month from when we're recording this. So yeah, June 13th.
Oh, cool, awesome.
We're doing a release show at Cognition. With
I think I just saw that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think you just posted it today.
Yeah. But we're playing with our friends The Hard, Full Strength, and then wow, I'm spacing. Ponyworm. Yeah.
Fantastic. Awesome. And are you going to do, is it just going to be a digital download or are you going to do any physical media?
We got tapes.
All right.
The tapes actually turned out really cool. The 2 cassettes we did before were like sticker labels, and I got these ones like pad printed. So like the print is like right on the tape, and I don't know, they're pretty neat.
Nice.
Yeah, the sleeves are screen printed too, eh?
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So yeah, we're kind of like the whole hardcore thing, like DIY ethos. We try to do as much of our own shit as we can.
Awesome.
We don't do everything, obviously. You got to hire some people for some stuff, but
for sure. Well, and your artwork is kind of cool too, because I'm definitely down into like interesting artwork. Is it the same person that did the Northern Desolation, or is it somebody else?
A different artist this time. Another Indonesian artist. But yeah, we went with Rotting Head this time. Is his online moniker, handle, whatever.
Nice, dude. How does that work? Do you just like send him a tune, say, hey, dude, create something for this, or do you give him an idea like, I want a skull or something?
Well, I follow like a bunch of like death metal and like, I don't know, kind of like gory artists on Instagram. I don't know. I just stumble across stuff that I like or styles that I like, and then like
Hit them up. And say,
Yeah,
hey.
I feel like Wick, you just find these guys
hit
on
'em up
Instagram
and
and they're just
just-
open for commissions, and we just kind of reach out to them.
Yeah.
I feel like that's how it. Yeah,
prompt them with ideas like
yeah, and the
idea for this cover like came from Dane. Like he was like, well, what if we had like like a corpse or something like rotting into the earth and like plants and flowers and things growing out of like the carcass,
That would be
Well, it was a
awesome.
funny story. Like it was a funny story. Kind of, we were at Wick's house practicing one night, and then we were having beers in the backyard. And I actually went to go pee in his backyard, and he was like, "Dude, my kid plays back here." And I was like, "Dude, by the time your kid gets back here, my pee is gonna become soil." And I was like, "Whoa."
It's gonna become soil. I always tell people that I want to be. I think it's called excarnation. Like, so basically, just put my body out there. Like, just lay that corpse out there. Let the crows and animals pick it apart. That's fine, If somebody gets freaked out because my arm gets dragged across the lawn, whatever.
Give a little back to the earth,
That's right, man.
Giving us so much.
Right. Yeah. Hell yeah. So I'm always curious about origin stories in terms of like firsts. And for each of you, what was the very first concert you went to?
Goo Goo Dolls, 1998.
Oh, nice.
At Hedgecock Fieldhouse, Northern Michigan.
Fantastic.
Yeah, being like in the Upper Peninsula, I always say we're not on the way to anywhere, we're there. So like we're pretty isolated. So it's something we probably all don't want to like admit, 'cause it's like, oh, it's this country music. For me, it was like, I can't even remember the name. It was some country musician at the Lakeview Arena, it's like, but the first, I'd say for Upers, it's probably the question is the first concert you chose to go to.
yeah, that's a good way to frame it.
Yeah, I went to Goo Goo Dolls with my mom. I'm pretty sure Eve 6 played too.
Nice.
That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I had a pretty epic one. It was Taking Back Sunday and Angels and Airwaves.
Nice. Awesome.
I was 16, I think. Well, yeah. My mom and my cousins surprised me with they're like, "Hey, guess what? You're going to this concert in Milwaukee." I was like, "All right."
Awesome. Alex, how about you?
The first, I went to a local show before this, so I went and saw some there was a metal band called Domain Malevolence, and this pop punk band called Milton, and then this new metal band called Hero Point Zero. So I went to, that was probably the first show I remember going to of my own volition. But the first thing I went to that anybody would know was I went to like Warped Tour in 2003 or two, I think, yeah. It was either that or Social Distortion. I went and saw them in Milwaukee when I was a kid too. I don't remember which one, but I was like 14 or something, maybe 15.
Nice. Awesome. What was the driver for Warped Tour? Do you remember?
What was the what was that? Like
what was there a particular? Yeah.
So I remember that Bad Religion was playing. I remember that NoFX was playing. There's this band that one of the guys from Rancid started called Lars Fredriksson and the Bastards. They were kind of like street punk, oi punk, and trying to think. There's like one more band I was really stoked to see that night. God, I cannot remember. I saw a bunch of shit I didn't care about, obviously. But I saw like quite a few bands I really miss. Anyway, those were the three bands I really remember being stoked to see. And yeah, and like at that time, like I was just really into punk rock, so I was like, like a 16-year-old punk kid.
Brandon, what was the show that you wanted to go see, like as opposed to some country artist?
My older brother, a couple years older than me, he's got a great taste in music. So like I was real lucky, like getting into guitar and stuff. I played all the classic rock stuff, but he's like, these are the this is heavy stuff. He's a real musician. So he was like 13. We convinced our mom to bring us down to like Ozfest 2000 in Ohio.
Nice.
And I will say this is the one notable thing to mention is that like I saw a bunch of cool music that day, like bunch of bands on the smaller stages that became like huge metal acts later.
Yeah.
But it might have been that year or the next year. I can't remember one of those 2 years, 2000, 2001. But all original Black Sabbath lineup.
Oh, nice.
Was the closer there. and everybody ditched out except for my mom. So it was like my mom and me, 13-year-old me, like we were just, I'm just trashed with mud. It was an amphitheater in Ohio and it like rained, and she stuck it out. Everybody else, out of there, and we freaking watched, full lineup Black Sabbath.
That's
So
awesome.
that was pretty crazy. So that was super cool for me. I was like, oh, crazy. Festivals are nuts.
Yeah, yeah. I remember going to a few Ozfests, and the second stage was always like had some of those bands that at the time you didn't know who they were, but they became huge. I remember seeing
like Meshuggah on one of those small stages, just like as a prog guy and a drummer, I was just like, what with that? That was like how I heard about them. They're playing on some tiny side stage.
Yeah. Well, I saw Tool on the side stage of Lollapalooza. I'm like, holy shit. Like, I didn't even know who they were. And I was like, what is that sound? And we were like just driven over there. And like,
yeah. Danny was my drummer influence growing up.
Guy's obsessed with Tool.
Well, not obsessed. I'm kidding. It's like the oh shit, their fans suck. But yeah, Danny. Actually, that was the last concert I actually went to. Was seeing Danny doing the beat thing with Tony Levin and those guys.
Oh wow, cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Awesome, fantastic.
But yeah, Danny is my OG influence on the drums.
Yeah. Well, guys, I want to thank you so much for being on Fans with Bands. Looking forward to the checking out the new album. Sounds awesome. Everything I've heard from you guys has been awesome. Yeah, I get up to Marquette every once in a while, so it'll be hit or miss if I can catch a show, but I will definitely try when we're up there. But
where are you at?
I'm in Ann Arbor.
Okay, we're playing in Kalamazoo in August. I don't know if that's close enough, but if it is,
oh yeah, that's like an hour
closer.
and a half. Yeah,
it's closer.
It's closer than Marquette.
Yeah, who are you guys playing with?
Archaea, and the show isn't fully booked yet, so that's all I know.
Ah, cool. Yeah, because I know some, definitely some bands, more like metal.
Yeah.
Like, do you know the dudes in Drink Their Blood?
I don't think so.
No.
Do you know where you're playing
with,
in Kalamazoo? Where are you going to play? Do you know?
I'm not sure the venue right now, but I just know that it's happening. I think they told me the venue yesterday, but I don't remember. So that's my bad. But no, it's this band called Archaea from Kalamazoo. That's like, I don't really know how to describe them, but they play a lot with this band from up in Marquette called Ladoga. That's like kind of math rock.
Okay.
Like, but it's not just math rock. It's really heavy and weird. Marquette's always had this string of music that's kind of like, I don't know, downstream from Fugazi or something like that. And I consider them to be part of that, Ladoga. But Archaea is not that. But they did a split with Ladoga, and their styles kind of complement each other in the way that I think they maybe avoid genre description a little bit. But Archaea, I guess I would maybe call them like kind of post metal.
Oh, cool. I'll have to check it out because
What would you say?
Well, I mean, they got like sludge and there's a lot of blues in it.
Nice. There's some great bands in Kalamazoo. There's Lucius Fox, just a duo. Those fucking guys are awesome.
One with the Riverbeds from Kalamazoo, aren't there?
Yeah, one with the river.
Yeah. We played in Kalamazoo last summer, and one of those guys was there. And then like 2 weeks later, Lucius Fox played up here, and I went and saw them, and he was wearing a Cave and Ground shirt, and I was like, dude. And he was like, what's up? And I was like, I sold you that shirt in Kalamazoo. And he was like, oh, it's you.
That's awesome. Yeah,
those guys are cool.
Those dudes, one with the Riverbed, Drink Their Blood. There's Bronson Arm. Yes, Bronson.
Yeah, Bronson Arm's sick.
Yeah, they're fucking awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of great bands. Well, just everywhere in Michigan, really. If you look,
Michigan rules.
Yeah, it does. Like, I have people like, oh, I can't find anything to listen to. I'm like, fuck, you're just not you're not paying attention.
Go anywhere. I mean,
right.
I think that's one of the things that we've been lucky to see. I think is that the UP is on some level starting to get more like. I think people are more aware of the fact that we have a heavy music scene up here down below the bridge than they were when I was like 20 or 25. when we were younger and doing this, I think it was a little bit harder to get footholds as UP bands. And, you know, especially like we're more hardcore, I guess, in terms of like culturally where we operate. We play with a lot of metal bands too, but there's a lot of UP bands that we play with that, like, you know what I mean, have helped kind of, I think, galvanize this culturally within the state of Michigan, which has been good to see.
Yeah, I think it's awesome because I love going up to the UP, and so if it happens that you can tie in some music, hell yeah, it's awesome. Well, all right. So, guys, again, thank you so much. I've got one last question for each of you, and that is pineapple or no pineapple on pizza? Let's go with Wick.
Yeah, I'll eat pineapple on pizza.
All right. Would you order it that way?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not going to judge you. I'm just curious.
yeah, no, I'm not scared.
Awesome. Dean, how about you?
Yeah, I'm not scared either.
All right. Awesome. Alex, I saw a thumbs up.
Yeah, I'm a pineapple on pizza guy. I do it unless there's somebody who objects. I might put pineapple on it.
Nice. And
Well,
Brandon, how about you?
as a testament to the openness of the band and collaboration, yes, myself as well. I'm not scared. So, you know, I mean,
Hell yeah.
if it's not good, it's not good. You know, you don't
Yeah.
get them all. So.
Right. Yeah. If you don't like it, you can pick it off. I personally am not a pineapple. Like, I like pineapples, but they can be on their own thing. But, you know, whatever. Anything's good. But so,
But dude, if you do the pineapple, bacon, jalapeno, you get sweet, hot,
Yeah.
spicy, salty. So
That's
that's the
Don't forget the
crucial
grease.
mix.
I'm going to have to try that because I've heard that, I don't know how, because I've been asking this question for years. And that combination comes up quite a bit, the jalapeno and pineapple. I'm
So
like,
yeah, it's like
yeah.
a pineapple on just on a regular pepperoni pizza is not really going to add anything special. But if you do the right combo, then it's definitely worth doing.
All right. I will. I'll definitely have to do that. That'll be awesome. Wonder if they do that at Congress. Probably not.
Probably.
Yeah. I'll have to check because I love going to Congress pizza. Anyway. Well, guys, again, thank you so much, and looking forward to the music, and hope to actually see you soon again in person.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks for having us.
Anytime. Thanks, man.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Thanks, Ben.
Bands are nothing without you, the fans. Purchasing music and merchandise is critical to their survival. If you can help out your favorite bands, please do. If you're in Michigan, consider following the Playing in Detroit Area Tonight and SE for Southeast Michigan Music Facebook pages. They are fantastic places for fans and bands to support each other and share our combined love of music. Thank you all so much for listening. Be sure to hit subscribe on your favorite podcast service to get each and every episode of Fans with Bands. Spread the word by rating the show, telling your friends, telling your neighbors, telling your family, telling your priest, tell everyone, and leave a comment. We want to hear what you think. You can keep in touch by following us on social media. This is a Life in Michigan production. Until next time, be well and kick out the jams.